Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. It is a beautiful day. And as you can see, we have on the outfit that signals the season is here. Yes, we don't wear this all winter long purposely and because it's too cold in the house, but now spring is pretty much arriving. It's a little bit full spring. Yes, we're still going to have plenty of deep freezes in the 20s, low 20s. Yes, but for the most part, the single digits for days on end is gone. Okay, and the snow cover is gone. So, as far as I'm concerned, season is here, guys. So let me take a sip of this water. So guys, let me know what zone are you in, where are you at, and what are you growing? What do you have started indoors? What do you have that you still have to start? Let's see if you got enough time. Yeah, if you're watching this after the fact, put it in the comments. And then if you're watching it after the fact, read the comments. We got a great tribe here. It's not just a group of people, it's a tribe, truly. And so it's, we all can like input and give beneficial input, and everybody can read the comments. Everybody can leave their thoughts. Okay, thank you, Donald Hughes. I'm glad. Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Hello, Aaron Johnson. What's up, my friend? Meyer Lemons, Jay Dixon. Yes, always there, always on top of it. Freebird. Hello, my friend. Rick Thelian. Is it Thelian or the Leon? Which is it? Permatopia Farm says, hi, Nate. Have been following you for a while and so glad to be here. Well, we are glad you're here as well, my friend. Yes. So, Pam from South Africa. Hello. Captain Jerry says, hi, Nate. I just wanted to know, can I plant onion seeds in a cell and then plant them out in the garden together? Will that work? That does work. It depends. You don't want any more than like 3. If you, and I've done this many years this way. So you definitely can multi-sow them. So onions are one of the things like beets that if you have multiples and you plant them, in one cell like that, and then you plant them, as they grow, they will push each other apart. They'll grow away from each other. So long as you don't have any more than like 3. Once you get to 4, it starts stunting the growth, and 5 totally stunts the growth. So, I've had decent success with 3, but the thing is, all right, and I thought for a long time, oh, well, you can get triple the amount of onions in the same amount of space. It actually doesn't really work like that. I know it seems like it would work, but it takes up just as much space, and the onions aren't really like as healthy because they're kind of still competing a little bit. So I found over the years and settled on the fact to plant individual onions just a palm's width apart, like that. So we're planting one, and then boom, another one in all directions, a palm width in all directions, and you're going to get a huge amount of onions. So I reckon, based upon my math, even though these are new beds, that me and Camille were out there last night just doing some calculations and planning for the upcoming season. And so the bed is 4 feet wide by 10 feet long. And I was doing some planning, and I think that we will, if we do it every 6 inches, give or take, we're going to get a lot in there. Okay. So there's going to be between 90 and 100, give or take. That's conservative, but even 80 or 90 in a 4 by 10 bed, that's pretty much all onions. That whole bed is going to look like onions. If you've seen the way that I grow onions with the boards and stuff now, the past 3 years I've used that method. Amazing success, and they grow super close. The whole bed is basically one huge onion patch. It's not, you don't put little rows or dividers, none of that stuff. It's just maximum high intensity. And onions are something that I do mulch with grass clippings. I prefer grass clippings beyond all other things for the onions. And guys, look, I still have not, I'm just giving it a go because, each year you refine your practices, and you find out what works, and you sort of distill things a little bit more. And so I've pretty much, I would say I've nearly perfected the starting the onions from seed. And so now they're like fully erect. You know, they're not, even though I have not trimmed them yet. I've not trimmed them yet. I should have, but I'm kind of doing an experiment because they're only like a couple weeks from going out. They're like 2 weeks from going out because I see on the 10-day forecast we still have a low 20s. You know, even though they can handle that, I just started hardening them off yesterday. So and we got 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds right now. So these, yeah, see the leaves are blowing into them and stuff. So these are the Rosa di Milanos, and they are nice and stout, no doubt. So I don't feel like I'm going to trim them because in the past I wasn't quite as on it. I didn't have the system down as much, and they were a little more lanky. And so if you didn't trim them, they'd all just fall over into a plate like a tangled up mess of spaghetti. But the okay, so Rick says don't trim now. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty much just going to go with it because that way we just know more about it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, hacking on the plant is not, you know, well, we just have to see. I can't really say because my past experience is that trimmed onions are always hardier and better and more robust. But these things are just spot on. I mean, nice and thick. There's some outliers, definitely, but most of them in the center are, you know, they're going to be the size, full-on size of a pencil when they go out. When I first started doing it years ago, they were like the size of pencil lead, you know, like little spaghetti, like a spaghetti noodle, you know, and that's not fun. That's not really fun. So yeah, we're just going to pretty much, thank you, Aaron. Yes. Yeah, let's see, you guys talking about memberships. Yeah, the membership is just a thing, you know, YouTube was pushing it and stuff. And so now it's just for the inner circle tribe, the people that want to, it's like $3 a month, you know, just to say we're members, you know, to be part of the club. And I am going to start doing just a little like members only videos, not necessarily knowledge videos, but like, for example, I just made a short video about, for Jerry, the beef farmer. And I made a video for him to put in his art exhibition at the university. And so I want to share that with you guys. It's really cool, but it's not something I would put on the main channel, but I think I'm going to upload it and do members only. So there will be those kind of things. Definitely. So yes. Yes, Teets, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. We did have that discussion. And for your bed, pack that thing with onions. Don't worry about multi-sowing. You will get more packed, definitely. Yeah. Bobby M. Kearney says, Zone 9, South Ireland, Cork, starting Jimmy Nardello peppers, potatoes, carrots, and Swiss chard. Nice, yes. Jimmy Nardellos, man, those things sprouted fast, and they are vigorous already, like much better than, for example, the shishito peppers took a long time to sprout. Guys, I'm going to give you a tip that I'm not going to like make public really, except for all of you guys. Several years ago, my dad got a variety of sweet pepper that was mind-blowing, okay? It was a vigorous, like 4-foot tall plant loaded with these nice orange yellow, mostly yellowish peppers. Sweet, super sweet and crisp. And if you put them in the fridge for an hour or something, take them out and I mean, just delicious. How sweet they were. They barely had any seeds at all. If any seeds, I think. And the plant just kept producing. And so I finally now found seeds for that. It's a hybrid. It is a hybrid. So you're not saving seeds. And peppers, I don't even save seeds anyways because I've had too much heartache with that, too much wasted time and energy and space. So for peppers. But the variety is called Just Sweet. Just Sweet. If you can find some seeds, which I finally did, then I highly recommend you get them. They're not even here yet. They're still going to be here before too long. So let me find the place real quick because I want to share it with you guys in case you want them. I highly recommend that you do because if you grow them right, the plant, you know, it's bred for specific for the crunchy flavor and the vigorousness. Okay, so yes, that's where we got it. Park Seed, PARK Seed. That's where we got it. They're expensive. They're like $15, I think, for 10 seeds, but it's worth it. Okay, now these are not genetically modified. Remember that hybrids are not genetically modified. That, in a way, the genetics, you know, they're genetically selected, of course. But don't worry about it. Oh no, you don't want to eat those. It's just plant breeding. It's just plant breeding. So let's see. Meyer Lemon says zone 6-7. Onion started going strong. Started marigolds too early. Oh, way too early. Yeah, gonna have to pot them up. I did that before coffee one morning. Yes. Oh yeah, you started them too early. Yeah, definitely. Marigolds and sunflowers are the kind of things, and zinnias and nasturtiums. Those are the kind of things that you want to start like 4 weeks. If your seed starting setup and you got a heat mat and it's on point with bright light, 4 weeks is all you need. It's all you need. Even 3 would be fine because they grow so fast and so vigorous. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes. Oh, thank you, Pam. Yes, says can't wait for the video on the new way of starting sweet potatoes. Your plants look awesome. Thank you. Yes. You know what I've actually decided to do. Some of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh no, that's not the way to do it." But you know, I've decided that I'm going to include the new way of sweet potatoes in the course. Yeah, I'm not going to put it on YouTube. Sorry. But I mean, I'll pretty much tell you guys anyways. But the because you know I'm making these courses that will come out in early next year, and I have to have 100% original content for those courses. That's I want to. I don't want to just repurpose YouTube video stuff. No, the courses are going to be my main focus because that is what I see is going to be the way to the land. Yeah, because YouTube is not cutting it. YouTube isn't doing much, you know. So instead, I'm going to use the platform to promote, just to gently promote the courses, you know, and they will be different than the YouTube videos, because YouTube videos you got to make like fast, and you got to make, now stay to the end, please stay to the end, so that I'll give you this little tidbit of knowledge so that you can, you know, please stay to the end. That's what it feels like most content creators have to do. You know, please comment and like the video. You know, I'm tired of that. You know, I'm tired of the algorithm trying to manipulate me, because you know, the algorithm is, I mean, we all know that the algorithm tries to keep the users addicted to it, definitely, with all kinds of different tips and different tricks that it uses. But it also keeps the creators addicted to it by some videos just giving you, wow, lots of views, lots of likes, and lots of exposure, lots of money. But then many of them just stuff it down, even though it's like an amazing, you know, well put together video you spent time on, and you know that there's a good conveying of knowledge. Nah, I just stuff it down. So that's to keep us addicted to the content creation thing as well. And I'm just kind of stepping back from that in a way. I'm not going to play that game to a degree. I will to a degree, but that's why the courses are going to be something that I can actually market through Facebook ads and stuff like that. So a lot is changing, you know, but that's a long way of saying that this new method, guys, look at this. Look at these things. I mean, you can't even look at these. They're just unbelievable. And these are only, I started them, I think 4 weeks ago, you know, and let me show you real quick. Look at the thing here. Okay. So you can still hear me. Oops. So look at how they're just growing like a madman, a total madman. They're just like busting out of the, look at them. And I've already cut them all once, and I've already got them rerooted. This is the second growth. And so the new method, I will never go back to doing the water method and stuff like that. I mean, all of it, that still works, yes, but there's no need to to do that anymore, because now we've got this method that is just like phenomenal. These things you can't stop these things from growing, really. So I will be doing it like this. And there's another step that is going to, I feel like, that's why I haven't made a video on it yet, really, is because it's not tested. But the new way of planting these, I think, is going to be the money method. You know what I mean? Like the good method. So, what's up, Tony? Yes. Do you grow sweet potatoes there? How do you like to start your slips, huh? So Teets says, so will we pay to watch a particular course, or is it like a subscription to all the courses? It'll be a platform. There will be different courses. It's by the course. The first one I'm going to do is just the distilled essence of all of the experience I've had on YouTube and from countless consultations and stuff like that with people. So it's going to really distill everything big time, you know, because there's like 40 homemade fertilizer videos on the channel and tons, and people are like, so where do I even start? You know, the course is going to organize everything super well, and everything's going to be right there, accessible, and it's the organization. Yeah. Think about, and I'm running into this with lots of aspects of my life. So I've got now 5 years of footage, of content, you know, and for the first, well, up until about 6 months ago, 4.5 years, I was just taking the content, just keeping it on my phone, downloading it or uploading it to the computer, just to no specific files or anything like that. So I've got years of content. I mean, gigabyte, hundreds of gigs of videos and content and stuff. I can't find any of it. I can't find anything. I know that I've got, well, where did I remember I filmed that onion so that I can make this video thing. Can't find any of it because it's not organized properly. So it's all there, but it's just all over the place. And so I waste too much time trying to search for it, you know? And I mean, it's the same way if you've got tools and stuff that are disorganized. Well, I know I've got that sledgehammer somewhere, but where is it? You know, you spend half hour looking for it and you never find it. It's like, oh man, it's all about organization, I'm finding. And so the courses are perfectly organized. And so it will be totally different. But then there will be a course for like homemade fertilizers. But the initial course is going to cover everything that a person needs to know from zero to hero. Yeah. From peasant to Viking. That's what it's going to be. So Meyer Lemon says, Nate, those are some sweet potatoes. Jurassic. Yes, they are. They really are. I will be showing you those again just because of how cool they are. But even then, I mean, you can just take all the vines and you can chop them up, you know, and utilizing this new method is just insane. So I'm really looking forward to planting them this year in the new way. We'll make sure that it works as well as I feel like it's going to, definitely. Thank you, my friend Lucia Bora from the Netherlands. Poppin' Seed says, me too. I'm small and losing subs daily, and I don't suck that bad at 126 subs. Yeah, definitely you can't be paying attention to the numbers. Just don't. You can't understand the way that it is. It's just focus on making the highest quality content that you know how to make. You know, focus on making stuff that people want to, that is like, for me, mine is like, okay, I want to deliver value to the people. And so how am I going to do that? And I've been doing that like in my latest videos, my past few videos, you know, using more graphics on screen. I'm just learning new software and stuff like that. So I'm just experimenting with stuff, graphics on screen, you know, actually trying to like help people learn things, you know, and not just like blip, 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 you know, entertainment, blip, but actually like substance, you know, but the algorithm doesn't really care about that and stuff. So it's like you put all that work into it, it's like 5,000 views, and that's it. Nobody ever sees it again, you know? So I'm pretty much over that, you know? But anyways, well, thank you, Meyer Lemons. Thank you. Let's see. Donald Hughes says, Amazon has the Just Sweet by Parks. What? $9.90, so $10 for 10 seeds? So it's cheaper than going to Park Seeds. Of course it is. I didn't even think to look on Amazon. But I highly recommend that you guys get them if you want, and then let me know how it goes, because they will be delicious. But here's the thing: if you get them, it's a little bit late to be starting pepper. Not really late, but you want to get on it. When you get them, you using a heat mat for peppers set to like 90 degrees will literally triple the speed or quadruple the speed with which they germinate. They'll germinate in like 5 days or less sometimes if it's 90 degrees. If it's 80 degrees, consider about 10 days, give or take. If it's 70 degrees, it's going to be like 3 weeks. If it's below 70, they probably won't even germinate. And that's how sensitive things are to temperature. Now, of course, there's probably exceptions, but in my experience, anything below 70, peppers just don't even germinate. They're just, nah, it's not time yet. So, look at you guys, Jurassic. Big West says Jurassic. Yeah, Argle Bargle says, what variety of sweet potato? Now, guys, here's the thing, is that for several years, now many of you know this, but just bear with me. For several years, I just planted sweet potatoes from the slips, from ones that I saved. But last year, life, happened and stuff, and so I didn't have time. So I just bought the slips, and so I don't have any of the old stock. So I bought the slips from a certain company, which I will not name, because I don't guarantee that it was their fault. It could have been my fault somehow. But the sweet potatoes got scurf real bad. All of them are just blackened, real ugly, and they don't store very well at all. Online, it will tell you that scurf is just a cosmetic thing. It doesn't really affect the storage. It absolutely affects the storage. I can tell you that firsthand. So that comes generally from infected culture. And so I am not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to buy the slips. I'm going to do what I did many years ago and just go to the organic store and get, for here we have it's called Three Rivers Co-op, and it's a organic grocery store where everything is top quality produce, best stuff in town. And go there and get the garnet yams. That's what I like. That's what these are, organic garnet yams. And don't be put off by the name. They're not actual yams. They're sweet potatoes. Most people don't know that, but we don't actually get yams here in America, really, besides like at the Asian store. And they're like big and they look like wood. Actual yams are different. Garnet yams are sweet potatoes. And anything that you'll be buying at the organic store in America, like for Americans, is going to be sweet potatoes. So they'll have different size, shape leaves and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's what these are. But these will be just as delicious as any other sweet potato leaves, because I will eat these and stir fry them all season long. So yeah, here's how vigorous they can get in just a couple of weeks. Man, you guys hear that wind? That's insane. Hang on, I'll be right back. So the internet might cut out. I'm not sure, but sometimes when it's really windy, it cuts out. Okay, we're good now. We're good. So here's some other things that we're doing, okay? When we went to the Asian store the other day, we saw, let's see a few of these. Yeah. What are you guys, okay? Dorothy Fu says, come on, for speed germination, use the coffee method. It works. What is this, coffee method? I'm not aware of this. Matt Ware says, hey, Nate, my son Atticus has autism and loves plants and especially flowers. He really wants to plant sunflowers. Can I plant these in a pot or should I make a bed for them? You will have to get the right kind of sunflowers. So if you like sunflowers, then I highly recommend branching sunflowers, okay? So some really good ones that we had were Velvet Queen. Now those get about 5 feet tall and they have tons of blooms on them. If you watch some of my videos from last summer, that's one of them is the Velvet Queen. and they get tons of beautiful blooms. Gets about 4 to 5 feet tall and about 3 feet wide if it's in the ground. Now, if it's in a pot, you know, it's going to consume a lot of nutrients, a lot of soil, a lot of moisture. I don't think you'll have nearly as good of success. I'm sure that they make specific sunflower types that will do good in pots, but for best, sunflowers have got a real wide fibrous root system, so they like to go down and deep and all over into the earth. That's why they're a really good cover crop. So I would say if it's important to you, make a bed for them, definitely. And if you want real tall ones, get the evening sunset mix. And now those are like 8 feet tall, and they've got a dozen at a time, several dozen over the course of the season. And they're like this big, or even this big each. Real beautiful. So those are a good one. Okay. Jason Hetty says, Park Seeds Parker's Whopper Hybrid tomato is an awesome producer. I'm growing them again this year. Nice. How is that flavor? How is the flavor? Ursa Major says, a lot of YouTubers are doing shorts and really get a ton of views. Oh, I know. I mean, tons and tons of views. But you know what? I just like to the people that do shorts and stuff. Like what's the guy? Spicy Mustache. He was like one of the first to jump on the shorts bandwagon, and he got like 800,000 subscribers in 9 months from doing shorts. Okay, now, I mean that's amazing. That's amazing. But for me, the shorts, what I have found and observed over the years is that the shorts attracts the type of person that watches TikTok, and Instagram mostly. You know what I'm talking about? The TikTok, they need cuts like that. So that you're sitting there and you're almost like, I can't even watch that stuff. I have to like, whoa. If there's all kinds of jump cuts and pow. Even for me, Spicy Mustache, the shorts are like that. Total ADD, pow. And that attracts the TikTok crowd, which I'm not trying to attract. I don't care about their fractured little attention spans. I'm not going to cater to that. I'd much rather have you guys here who have an attention span still, and who can have discourse about something, and who aren't like all irritated because they have no attention span in their mind. We talk about that on the Thrive channel. So that's the thing. That's why I don't really focus on shorts, because then you attract people that are all that crowd, and that's not who I'm trying to attract. Okay, I'm trying to attract you guys. Okay. So, whoa. Tony says, yeah, I also need to outsource editing at some point. It's wasting time I could be using. I have over 750 scripts written for short content and haven't filmed any yet, as I have no capacity. That's what I know. Tell me about it, man. In the game, it's difficult because, and I was just running into this yesterday. It's like, okay, I want to make a short about this little thing, but okay, so now I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to start filming. Then that angle isn't right. I got to refilm, got to get the tripods out. And then I got to talk about, and then I got to go back inside and put it into CapCut. And then I got to edit it. And now we're 3.5 hours later. I've got a little short I can post and the day's over, basically. And I'm like exhausted from all the thinking and the virtual stuff, and so, but my project didn't get finished. And so it's like that day after day, especially at this time. So for me, it's shorts have to become something that I can just film real quick. It's just knowledge base. Here's a little bleep of knowledge. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what my plants look like. I'll let them speak for itself. But I just can't be like all that editing and stuff. So yeah. Let's see here. Teets $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, I planted short day onions last November, December. They just started bulbing up. Does this seem correct? Yes. I mean, kind of. Yeah. So you planted them a little bit late, but yeah. I mean, as the days are getting longer is when the short day onions will bulb. Yes. So yes, this is correct. But for you, I'd be planting intermediate day. You can plant short day, but you want to do it much earlier than that, because the short day is the opposite of the long day. The long day will put on all of its vegetative growth as the days get longer. Then once the solstice comes and the days begin getting shorter, then they will start to bulb up. And short day are the opposite. So you have to be mindful, because these are phototropic. You know, they're sensitive to the they respond based upon light hours. Yeah, they're photoperiod sensitive, like other plants that people grow in that area. So they're sensitive to the numbers of darkness hours and daylight. So you will want to plant them well before the solstice. Yeah. Um, Thank you, Big Wes. Yes, that's what I plan on doing. So Alvin K says, "Good sir, what exactly is the difference between using material plus sugar versus material plus sugar and molasses water? I see some methods are done dry versus wet. Why is that?" Uh, okay, so you must be talking about things like like, for example, the fish amino acids. That's what we've done so far with the just sugar method. When you see a method here that is just the brown sugar, it's very important that we do that method, because we are utilizing the sugar to actually draw out on a cellular level nutrients and things from the substrate, from the substance. Okay, it's called osmotic pressure. And so we need to use that osmotic pressure by having the solution, the concentration, way sky high outside of the material and the cell walls as compared to the inside. And so that will draw out, because a solution is always trying to reach equilibrium. And so it will pull out these things in an attempt to dilute the one that has more. All right, so this is very important that we stick to that. If we start adding, so many people say, okay, well, I added molasses. That doesn't have any osmotic pressure effect. That's not going to do the same thing. You've made something totally different just because they want to. You'd be amazed at how difficult it is for people to just follow the instructions. Why don't you just follow the instructions? Well, because even though I've never done it before and I have no idea what process is behind it, I just think it's better. Oh, okay. Well, that's why you failed then. So why are you trying to ask me about all these molds and all this kind of stuff when you didn't even follow the super simple instructions? I'm not talking about you. I just mean I see it. So the sugar molasses, okay, anything we're using the molasses, that's more of like a fermentation. So that would be like the fish hydrolysate, where we will utilize the enzymatic digestion of the lactic acid bacteria, the labs from milk, and the sugars and the minerals from the molasses. We will utilize that, and that will actually ferment that stuff. Totally different method of extraction or digestion that produce different results. We use molasses in the aerated compost teas because it's a food source for microbes, which they love, and it also is super high in minerals. The sugar cane is actually very efficient at ripping minerals out of the earth, and so the straight blackstrap molasses is a huge micronutrient source. Iron and magnesium, all different kinds of good stuff is in the molasses. So hope that answers the question. So let's see here. Everyday Alchemy says, "Hi Nate, an Australian living in Western Tennessee. Today my earthquake badger front tying tiller arrived. So here we go, growing food and flowers and distilling herbs into essential oils." Nice, that sounds wonderful. Earthquake badger front tying, that sounds pretty powerful, huh? So that's sounds pretty good. Brian says, "Nate, are you going to take down your older content down and put it behind a paywall?" No. I mean, I don't think so. I just don't think so. No, because like I've said before, so many of the viewers are just people like in Asia and Africa and things that just want to know how to make fertilizers and stuff like that. And I've been to all of those countries, and there's no way that I could, charge people in Vietnam uh, for the knowledge and stuff like that. So no, we'll just leave everything as it is. And I'll still make tons of content on here that is still going to be very valuable, just like the videos have been. But the courses are different. You will see if you want to take them. You will see. And I think it's going to be very affordable. It's going to be like $200, for access to the whole course. And it's literally going to teach you everything you need to know in order to successfully grow food. But most importantly, what you don't need to know, a lot of fluff and a lot of stuff. So I've distilled all my systems, over the years. That's why now we can have onion starts like this, because we've distilled the system. That's why we can have, sweet potatoes like this, because we've distilled the system. And that's going to be the kind of stuff that we'll show. Yeah. It's me, $2. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. Blackbird Schoolies, what's up? My friend says Scald. We've missed our tribe here so much. Yes, it's been a while since we heard from you here. Hope you've got a good season coming up. Let's see here. How do I get back to that? Okay. So yes, guys, hit the like button, okay? If you haven't already. Permatopia says, question, where would your next property be and how many acres are you looking for? Would Arkansas be one of your choices? Ooh, no, it would not be. Thank you for that, but no. I am, the Viking needs the cold. And so I can tolerate an intense summer if I know a nice, cold, snowy winter is coming. Because that's when I thrive the best in that kind of weather. I would melt in Arkansas. Oh my goodness. I would be a disaster in Arkansas. Even in Tennessee, it's still way too hot and humid for me. So I'm looking at some point, once the revenue is consistent, then I'd be looking for like 50 acres of woods in southern Michigan somewhere. That's what I would want to do, on the east side of Lake Michigan, give or take. 50 acres of undeveloped woods with no outbuildings or anything like that. We'll take care of all that stuff. So that's what it'll be, something like that. Yes, Look to Nature says, I grow velvet queens. Yes, we grew those. Gorgeous blooms. Some flowers have a deep taproot that hates containment. Yeah, that's they wouldn't do well in containers. Taylor Reindl says, what did you do for your pathways in your garden? I'm going to make a video about that. That's going to be one of the next few videos. So I don't really want to explain it here because that's a lot to get into. And I want you to hear the whole, when I do a video, I can like walk through the whole process and the philosophy instead of just saying it. And people will be like, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Well, listen to why I did it that way, So there will be a video coming out on that. Thank you. Yes. B. Hendricks gifted one Garden Like a Viking membership. Nice. How do we do that? I have to look up. How do we utilize that? Can we have like a giveaway for it? That would be cool. Thank you. High School says, what do you think of chemical pesticides? Well, I don't use them. Yeah, that's a big question. Huge question. Yeah. Let's see here. Texas Dark Sky says, I put out 45-second shorts with star facts every day, pushing knowledge in bite-sized chunks. I like that. Yeah, that's probably what I would use the shorts for. But man, I made that onion short that I did on Instagram, got 4.4 million views. And then the following year, which was last year, I just reloaded the same thing and it got, again, 4.4 million views. Exploded again to the exact same level, So But that's how I know that, the only people, the worst comments I get, the most delusional thinking that I get is all in short form content. The most combative, you know, aggressive type behavior and stuff is all in Instagram and short form content. So, yeah. Yeah. Simplify gardening. We all suffer with it, Nate, and it will be better when the clocks go forward at the end of the month. Will give me an extra hour. Man, we just had that happen last week, and I do not like the time change. I wish it would just stay. I mean, don't get me started on it. Really don't appreciate it, and we have no say so. We have no say so whatsoever. Oh, thank you, Mom Computer. Says Nate, I watch every one of your shorts so I can give you a thumbs up. Thought that would help you. Also, folks should go back and watch your older videos and give a thumbs up. Helps the algorithm. Definitely. Yes, thank you. Because the older videos are still totally relevant. A lot of people don't, a lot of people just in their mind, they think because it was 2 years ago, oh, it's not relevant anymore. That's not true. It's absolutely still relevant. Dizzy Wiggles says, when is the best time to order Viking rowing onions for next season? We will have that coming up through the website. So in the next week or two, there will be a gardenlikeaviking.com that will be operational, and the fertilizers will be for sale there, and the onions will be for pre-order or whatever. You'll just get on the list, but they won't ship until August, September again, because of timing, of course. So let's see here. So I went to the Asian store the other day, and look what I found when I was there. One second. So I went to the Asian store, and we saw that I was looking to get some ginger. Even though we still have fermented ginger, I just found a whole nother quart of it in the refrigerator. I was like, wow, I thought we were out. So now we got a whole nother quart of fermented ginger. Guys, the ginger lasts all winter. Yeah, it's been amazing. So that's the way to keep ginger good. That's also going to be in the course, how to ferment, just the handful of things you need to know how to ferment. But look, I found this ginger, and I was like, looking at it, I just couldn't help myself. Even though I've got 3 10 by 20 trays of ginger started downstairs, I just couldn't help myself. I had to impulsively, it was just involuntary, because look, it's already sprouting. Yeah. Gorgeous, plump, solid, and it's already sprouting from all these different nodes. Look at that. I just couldn't let it sit there. Somebody was going to take that. They weren't going to realize that would 10 times itself by the end of the year. So I had to rescue it. And this was another part of it. It was like this, and this one, boom, boom, boom. There's going to be 6 eyes coming off that. Every one of them are active. Every one of them are growing. So real nice. Yeah. Let's see. High School says, when and how would you deal with white flies organically? So if you're talking about the white flies that get on the tomatoes towards the end of the season, for one, you have to determine, as you need to determine with any pest, how much of a problem really is it? So the white flies typically can be tolerated. There's a good part of organic gardening is just learning how to, one, of course, grow the most healthy plants possible that will defend themselves, and knowing what plants to plant when and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's also a bit of just tolerating the pest, to a degree. So if you don't see it really damaging much, then it's just fine. And some good aerated compost teas and the bat and seabird guano, the bloom booster, that is number one for boosting the um, immune system of the plant itself. It makes it very resilient to pests and diseases. So we apply that foliarly. Very easy to make. So beyond that, though, if you do decide that, okay, they need to go, then for white flies, I will typically just use the JMS, actually, which is just Castile soap. You can use that. You can put in some peppermint essential oil, or you can boil you can make herbal solutions like peppermint JHS and stuff. So that can work. That can work. Beyond that, I've actually never had to mess with white flies. So if you guys have a white fly thing, let me know, because I just kind of tolerate them. They don't really destroy much. It's not like aphids will destroy stuff. They suck the life out of it. I haven't really had that happen with white flies. Yes, look at all you guys. Time change. Pick one and stay with it. I know, it's insane, especially when you are very rhythmic. Like when I was traveling and stuff, traveling the world, I wouldn't even think. I was going through different time zones all the time, and I'd spend 6 months here and then go to 12-hour difference time zone there and stuff. But you're like in that life, you're conditioned and all that stuff to just go with it. But now my life has settled to a very fine rhythm, and things are predictable in the sense that everything is rhythmic, and I like it that way right now. And so the days of just like going to all of different time zones and all that stuff, wonderful, beautiful time period in life, but that's not where I'm at anymore. And so I like to wake up at the exact same time every day, naturally. Yeah. Right at 7 o'clock is how I like to, without an alarm, without anything. And then to go to bed naturally as well, without like worrying about things. And so, but now it's like you wake up and it's all late and everything like that, because now instead of 7, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, you feel like you're an hour behind all day. So now you got to set the alarm, which I have lights as an alarm. No like sound. The little Govee strip of lights, they come on. And so now it's all dark for an hour. It's just crazy, guys. It just makes you like, oh, and then throws you off during the day. And then it's, instead of going to bed at 11 o'clock, now all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock, actually to your body. That throws off everything, man. Oh my goodness. Look to Nature says, my children need your prayers. Just got a call that our ice chest freezer was left open. Yes. Oh yes, they do. Chest freezers typically don't get that. Something had to be, that's one of the main advantages of a chest freezer, is that it can't be left open typically. So what happened there? Okay, Scott Joe, that's a great question. Thank you very much for the $5. Says, wait 1 second, I forgot. Gary Smith. Okay, let me get to this real quick, then I'll get to that. Gary Smith, $25 via PayPal. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. Says, a fishing friend of mine just brought me a cooler full of fish called shard, about 30 pounds, caught by a casting net. Guess what I'll be doing later today beside buying brown sugar? Yes, that's cool. Man, I need to get on that. Because me and Rusty Reed, we weren't able to go spearfishing anytime the past 2 years. So I'm running low on the carp and the fish. 30 pounds, that is amazing. That's going to make all kinds of good stuff. So thank you for your consistent contribution, my friend. I appreciate that. And good luck. Equal parts brown sugar and fish. Okay, back to Scott. Says, Nate, is it normal for turmeric to take almost 7 weeks to start to show? Also, I always have issues with my onion seedlings browning at the tips. Okay, 2 questions there. 1, yes, turmeric takes a long time to sprout. It takes months. And turmeric is like ginger. It doesn't even begin rhizome production until 4 months into its growth period. Yeah, that's why people that plant it, in May, just try to put it out into the garden. They get just tiny little baby, they get some foliage, but just baby little rhizomes. Nothing worth even messing with. And that is because when it really starts rhizome production, the season's almost over. And so what we got to do is you have to start turmeric and ginger early. Okay, I started it weeks ago, and I mean like a month, 5 weeks ago even, and the ginger downstairs is just that tall. I mean, just a few of them have just started sprouting out. The turmeric hasn't even started yet, and so I'm not entirely sure if the stuff from the Asian store was not dead, you know, because I'm feeling like the stuff. So you want to, if you can, you want to try and hedge your bets, and you want to use half from one place and half from another place. Have multiple different sources of your ginger and turmeric root. Unless you see this, if you see that, you're good to go. You know it's alive. It's sprouting already in the store. So that's going to take like 2 weeks. If I planted that now, that in 2 weeks we'll see a shoot. But the turmeric, it can be in deep dormancy, and it can have sprout inhibitors on it. So get some different stuff. Like I got half of the tray from the Asian store. I got half the tray from the organic co-op where I get the sweet potatoes, and one of them is going to still be alive, hopefully. So it's been 5-6 weeks, nothing, but that's not uncommon. I've grown ginger once before, basically, and that is exactly my experience last time as well. So the thing that you want to look out for, though, is the signs of life. So turmeric will grow in the same way, as far as it will put down shoots up, roots down, and rhizomes sideways. So you grow them exactly the same. 7 weeks is a long time, though. If you got it on a heat mat, you got to have it on a heat mat. I got it on a heat mat like 90 degrees. If you don't do that, just forget about it. It's not even going to sprout, period. If you don't have it on a heat mat, it's not going to sprout. It's not going to sprout properly. Now, of course, there's exceptions to that, but I'm going to make that claim, okay? Meyer Lemons, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, Nate, how are you dealing with the Austrian Crescent early shipment? I put some of them out to chit, as Tony suggested. Thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for the $5 as well. That used to be like, oh, buy me a coffee, but now it's like, oh, buy me half a coffee, right? No, thank you. Give me 1 second. So when you get your seed potatoes, guys, you don't have to worry if you're getting them super early, because all that you have to do is place them outside. Now, I'm kind of just getting, Tony has sort of helped open my eyes to just how effective that is. I was not aware over the years that it actually totally halts the outward growth. I didn't know that. Now I do. And so it totally halts the growth of the outward growth. So if you see them getting all long and lanky and white, bust them off and then put them into the sun, indirect sunlight, and with some warmth, and they will start to grow like this. See these tiny things here? Now, if these were in the basement, these would be this long and white, and that is not what we want. We don't get very good. We don't get very good growth that way. We get a lot more rotting in the ground. Okay, so these are the Austrian crescents right here. These are the Austrian crescents. I just got them on a tray like this. See? We just got them on a tray. We got 2 trays, and they're just over there in the window. And the window gets 0 direct sunlight, but it gets plenty of indirect sunlight. And you can just see that I've had these for like a month and a half already, I think. And look, that is how much they've sprouted. So if these were in the basement, they'd be super long and real nasty looking, and it just wouldn't work very well. Okay. So there we go. So that's what you do. And it makes perfect sense. Now, it makes perfect sense. I don't know why it didn't click until I had that interview with Tony. But I've had potatoes, literally, I've had potatoes just sitting out like in the corner where they get ambient light exposure for literally like a year. And I just always kept looking at them thinking, dang, when are they going to like rot or something? And they just sit there and get real stubby, sprouts on them. It never really clicked until that the light kind of just halts it, and it makes them nice and now you don't eat them though because the skins turn green. Yeah, but that doesn't matter for planting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and this one I'm going to cut. This one I'm going to cut like here. But ones like this, we're not even going to bother cutting. We're just going to plant. There's tons of ones like that. We're just going to plant these. And we are doing a sort of modified Ruth Stout method this year, just because, well, it's not Ruth Stout. It's not really Ruth Stout, because last year we had probably 70% loss to the mice. Yeah. Any of them that were underground, though, even the slightest bit under the soil, no mice. So they just went underneath that went underneath that straw and just devoured the potatoes. And they would just take a few bites out of one, ruin it, take a few bites out of the other one, ruin it, and it was really disheartening. So this year, because we got that big horse tiller, we are going to till it up good, and we're going to plant them in the actual ground. Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. Yep. So yes. Thank you, Freebird. Definitely. So hopefully that answered your question. Hopefully that answered your question about that. But we are going to now look. These are ones that we had from last year. Okay, so these are the French fingerling, which turned out to be one of my favorite potatoes ever. I'm only growing German butterball and 3 different kinds of fingerlings now, because the fingerlings are just so good, and you don't you don't Sunshine Country, yeah. Haha, me at the store. You're going home with me in my garden. That's exactly. I was looking at that, and there was an Asian lady there, and she was just sorting through it. She was picking through it, and she looked at that, and she looked at that, and I looked at that, and she was like, put it down. And I was like, oh, don't touch it again. And then I just stood there, and I was like, looking around a little bit. I was just like, and then as soon as she left, boom, whoop, swooped it up and got it. I said, yes, you're coming home with me. Huh? You're coming home with me. And I said it like that. So that's how we do it. So Donald Hughes, the best temp for seeds for seeds is 80 degrees, give or take. Now there was okay, so these are the French fingerlings, guys, and we ate so many of them, but now they are but now they're getting a little bit soft. So what I did is I moved them upstairs into the light, and look at this. Instead of those big, long, chunky ones, but this is typical. We've been doing this for many years, though. It's because it's time. Once they start getting soft, they weren't growing sprouts on them, though. So we just moved them up, and they're growing these. Look how thick and thick those sprouts are. Those chits, or whatever you want to call them. So these we're pretty much going to plant whole like this. This one we'll cut up. We'll cut this in half probably. And these are the French fingerlings. Highly recommend Austrian crescents and French fingerlings. But you kind of got to know a little bit. They're not as easy. If you haven't grown potatoes before, grow Yukon Golds. Just don't even, just believe me there. Grow Yukon Golds. They're fast. They're easy. They're forgiving. They're resistant to most blights. Fingerlings can be a little bit more of princess type potatoes, but they're worth it though, because you don't peel them. The skins are so thin, you just eat them. I mean, you can not peel other potatoes as well, but you can get thick skins over, that can be a little bit off-putting, but these have such good, delicious, creamy, buttery flesh. Just amazing. You don't need to skin them or nothing. So that's what we're doing. We've got all these trays that are in the window, and they are just getting beefy right now. Oh yeah, that's right. Here's another thing I wanted to show you guys. Now, this is the, I think, this is the celery, okay? So we've got 2 different kinds of celery here. And the red giant started real slow. The giant red started, I'm sorry, this is the parsley. Whoops. I was thinking, I was trying to think now, what is this? Which one is the red? This is all parsley. Okay. So these are doing really well. Now, guys, these trays are absolutely amazing. I know I've been talking about them all the time, but I just can't recommend enough because you can, when it's time to harden them off, see, I just take them out like this, out of their tray, and I just set this outside. So these are going right back outside. They got rain and wind last night, and they are loving life being outside. Yeah. The wind and all that stuff, a little bit of rainfall, and they got that natural nitrogen and stuff. They're loving it. There was a little bit of thunder last night, lightning. So that was really good for them. Then they can just go back in these trays, okay? So these are the Bootstrap Farmer trays. The links are in the description. Utilize the Viking links. We get a small kickback, yes, but this is totally shameless because these are, I truly believe in these 100%. So that's what it is. Now, parsley, we love parsley. We juice parsley all the time, all summer long. We juice it. We also make a couple of different like side condiment type things with it. Really good, but mostly for the juice, guys. Summer is a Cascadian dream of juicing, okay? Juicing beets, mostly beets, parsley, celery, green apple. The only thing we have to buy is the green apples, of course. But if once we get the land, we're planting apple trees like you wouldn't believe. But the parsley, we really like it. So this is a good Italian variety of parsley. Now, one thing that you've heard me talk about, I don't really utilize anything smaller than this. So you'll probably hear me say several times that these are big enough for pretty much everything that you need to plant, the 2x2. Except for tomatoes and peppers, I'm using the 3x3s from Bootstrap Farmer. But these you can fit 32 per tray, and that's plenty. That's plenty of space because these are probably, see, the roots have only just started coming out here recently, and they're only going to have like another 2 weeks indoors for the most part. Parsley's very cold hardy, so they're only going to have like another 2 weeks indoors, and then they're going out. And so that's plenty of space for these things. Now, I don't recommend going any smaller than this, though. For most people, this is actually as small as you want to go. All those like 72 cell seed trays and all that stuff, people that are having problems, it's because they have it in their mind. They see professional growers or greenhouse growers starting them in small little trays and then up potting, you know? But the home gardener doesn't need to up pot. Maybe tomatoes, that's it, but to increase the root mass. But everything else, I never up pot anything. You plant it in its final resting place while it's inside, and don't think about it again, because every time you up pot, you're stressing it out. You're adding more work for yourself. You're giving more. It's just way more work, and it's totally unnecessary. And so when you start them in this, they start and they finish in here. So a lot of people that are having issues are starting, well, I'm going to up pot those pretty soon. Why are you doing that indoors? If you really think about it, it disintegrates. The reasoning doesn't really make sense, whatever it is. Now, that being said, there are a couple things that I utilize those trays for. So these are also Bootstrap Farmer trays, but all I pretty much use these for anymore are something like arugula. Okay, so this is the arugula, which is also very, very cold hardy, and we're going to be planting outside pretty soon. So look, now in here we can get the look at those roots. Can you see? Lots of good roots on those things, and allows for the aeration. You see how there's like little diamond holes in there? These trays allow for air pruning of the roots, so they produce really healthy root systems. You see those roots popping out of there? Now these we are going to plant out into the garden probably in just another week or two, and these have only been here for 2 weeks. Okay, so they're only getting 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum in this little thing. That is why I'm comfortable planting them in this 72 cell tray, because I already know in my mind the timing of everything. I already know that, okay, these are going to come out in a specific amount of time. Now, I see people trying to start their peppers in these, and they're like, oh, I don't know what happened. The peppers are like that big and yellow, and they're all root bound and stuff, and then you plant them outside and they never recover. You know, that's because you started too crowded and too small of a space. You start in something like this, you never have to worry about it. You just plant it out, time it right, you're good to go. Once you get really good, certain crops you can time like this, like the arugula, okay? Certain crops like this you can take, and I know that they'll be, in about another 2 weeks maximum, they'll be about that big, you know, nice hardy root system, and we'll pull that plug right out and we'll put that right in there. So for these, for lettuce, for spinach, for not a whole lot more, that's what I would use these trays for, okay? Things that you know are gonna grow really fast and that for sure are gonna go out into the garden and that are not gonna take a big long time. You see those roots coming out of there? Looking real good. So that's what I recommend for that, okay? Now, oops, these are gonna go back outside because they love the outside. Now, there was a, let's see here, Taylor Reindl, $20. Thank you, my friend. Says, for the next video, how is the nutrients coming? Have a price yet? Can't wait to try it out. Never have used anything like that, just manures and compost. Yes, okay, so for the next video, so the nutrients are coming along great. I've been mixing them up and stuff. Boy, it is a workout. Moving all these 50-pound bags of everything, even though I got the good mixer and stuff, it's still, the buckets are 40 pounds. So yeah, it's, but the price this year is $220. That includes shipping though, which shipping is astronomical, astronomical. So $220, that's still much cheaper than the comparable amount of Miracle Grow Organics. And it's the best stuff on the market. I can say that with full confidence. There's nothing better than the Viking granular nutrients that is available on the market. And there probably never will be because my recipe is not going to be like a crazy moneymaker. I mean, it's too the inputs are too high quality. There's too many things in it. This is what I use myself now. That's all we're using in this garden. This is like a proving garden, you know? That's all we're using from here out is Viking granular nutrients, which is just organic matter, you know? It's just like I've been saying for a long time about why I'm doing it this way now. The old ways still work perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. But for those that want just a convenient one part, sprinkle it in and that's it, then that's what the nutrients are for, okay? So I've got plenty of buckets. So you guys can, once that website is operational here, I just got the logo is completed and we just sent off to the place to get the labels, you know, put on the front of them. So it's going to be pretty cool. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see what you guys think. The buckets are green with the branding and the font being yellow and everything, 5-gallon buckets. So they'll be very cool. So it's $220 shipped, at least for now. I don't think, I mean, we'll see how this run goes and stuff, but $220 and then $200 for the local pickup, give or take, $200, and we'll just make it like that if you wanted to pick them up local. So that's what it is. Yeah. And if you guys want some, you can let me know. Now, in the next couple of weeks, I will have the website operational. If it's not, if something happens, then you could, don't worry, I'm still getting rid of it. I'm still letting it go. So just hit me up. And if you need it, like in the next 10 days, hit me up. But if you can wait a couple weeks, like most of us can, because you apply it at time of planting, or maybe a week before, no sooner than that. Most of us can wait. We got plenty of time still. So thank you very much for that, okay? Certain things will do better with it. Certain things will do better with it, like tomatoes and peppers do real good with it. Anything does really good with it, but they will benefit a lot from it because it's real high in magnesium. It's got good magnesium. Also, your alliums will do really good with it because it's got plenty of sulfur, which is really important for the alliums. But it's also got the appropriate amount of dolomite so that we're not fluctuating pH. I understand all that. So it's all good, yeah? And if you've seen my latest video about pH, you'll know that the soil microbes will pretty much take care of everything. But if we're growing in a soilless growing medium, which is all bagged potting mix from the store, then you actually do need to think about it, of course, okay? So Kenny Martin, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, sent Facebook message, found something. It's a solar film for $10 for a $600 roll of 400 feet. Solar film. What is this? I'm not sure. Yeah, guys, Facebook is not the place to hit me up, though. And I'm about to delete the Garden Like a Viking Facebook account because it was done the wrong way. So I'm going to redo it. And then you guys all need to subscribe to or follow the, but not until then, okay? Because I'm deleting this account that I have now. It's just it's too whacked out. So I've got to get it another way. So G.I. Chapman, new member, thank you very much, my friend. Good to see you here. Yes. Kenny, what is the solar film? Yeah, I'm interested. That's true. Megan McGuire says, I think showing a trial of fertilizers with yours in the mix and seeing the end results would be a great video that will help you get your sales. It's true. Yeah. One way that but you know, I am not going to need to like advertise. I mean, there will be, this is just for like you guys, you know, I mean, well, we'll see. Well, I don't know where it's going exactly, but it's, the way that I would have to do that though, is I would have to utilize, how would I do that? I would have to utilize soilless growing medium. That's how I would do it. I would do grow bags. I could even do that this year. I could do Garden Like a Viking nutrients in one ginger grow bag, and then Miracle Grow Organics nutrients in another grow bag, all with peat moss perlite as the medium. That would work, definitely. But I almost don't even want to waste my time and the real estate with the Miracle Grow stuff, just because I know if you want the most nutrient dense food, then you've got to grow it in the most nutrient dense substrate that you can possibly have. And so this is how we have developed this. Think of the fertilizer as like your multivitamin. It just has to be passed through the soil food web, through the plants. And so the more that is there, the more that the plants can uptake, and the more that you will uptake. Okay. So there's two questions here. Jay Dixon's talking to Dusty Flat, says, there are so many steps you can take to try to eliminate damping off hurting your seedlings. Where's the question on that? Where's the question on that? I need to see what the question is. Jason Hetty says, tomatoes rock on the Viking granular nutrients. I posted 2+ pound pics of my tomatoes and with feet and water. Yes, my tomatoes. Yeah, I remember that, to the Discord chat. Yes, and Jason got some of the Viking granular last year and is growing, I'm pretty sure, in the soilless growing medium, right? Peat moss perlite based stuff. Yes, and the granular is killing it, guys. Killing it for sure. But I want to be very clear that you don't. It's not, you don't need that. You know, it's for the people. It's for a particular type of person. You know, that wants that their focus is to grow the highest quality stuff possible, and like absurdly flavorful and absurdly good. You know, so it's for the people that cost is not their limiting factor. Yeah, they just want to grow the best, and maybe time is their limiting factor instead, so they can't go and get trailer loads of manure and all that kind of stuff, spend days and gas money and all this kind of stuff. They just want a thing they can sprinkle into the garden. I'm there. I'm right there with you at this point in life, and I'm all about growing the best stuff possible. Yeah. So if you got the Viking granular, at least you know that the lack of nutrients is not your issue, or imbalanced soil nutrients is not your issue if you have problems. Yeah. Yeah, that's a difficult question, because that depends. Is it soilless growing medium? Is it in raised beds, or is it row feet of soil that is already pretty living? You know, so you could get away with a lot less in soil that is already living and has already got some practices involved. But if it's just raised beds of soilless growing medium, then, you know, peat moss and perlite, then it would be a lot more. You know, but it's pretty much going to be, I mean, to really grow vigorously, it's going to be 2 tablespoons per gallon of soil, something like that. Yeah. You could get away with much less on, like, if you have a raised bed, like my raised beds are 4 feet by 10 feet by 1 foot deep, and the soil's already pretty living, okay? So I'm probably going to put 2 quarts in each of those beds. If you didn't have living soil already, I'd probably put 3. You could put 3 quarts in each of those beds. So, and then you can top dress if you want, or you could do halfway through. Well, you do it at time of planting. So if you pull up and you replant, then you do it again. Yeah. So like beets and stuff like that. So there will be a whole thing on the website about that. Yeah. Because there's lots of factors involved. But if you look at anything comparable on the market, that would be like Mr. B's green trees. You have to use double the amount of Mr. B's green trees. So it's, yeah, $200 a bucket of Mr. B's green trees, but you are literally using a cup per cubic foot of soil. And he recommends like every 6 weeks. So you're using just double, almost triple the amount of the solution. So it all depends, you know, it all depends. Now let's see here. Okay, so there was a question. Yes, Dav says, thank you for the $5, my friend. I appreciate that. Says Nate, do you know of any cover crops to start in the spring? I have a lot of space and need to get biomass growing for green manure method. Thank you. Okay, green manure method is fantastic. It's wonderful, very effective. Probably the best overall method for conditioning the soil, especially in the beginning. Now, do you need to use that always? No, but in the first 3 to 5 years, you can get real good soil using the green manure method. Yeah. If you don't have the ability to be bringing in a bunch of safe manures, green manure is very safe. You know it's not been sprayed with anything. So now, I don't know exactly where you are. I forget. Are you in India? I forget exactly where you are. That will matter. But so like here in zone 5/6, northern Indiana, where when I do it in the springtime, I will plant pretty much buckwheat. Buckwheat will grow real fast and produces a lot of biomass, and it does not tie up much nitrogen as it decomposes. So it will be very forgiving to the soil. Buckwheat is going to be your number one. Yeah. Possibly oats, you know, depending on where you're at, possibly an oats plus a some type of legume would be ideal. But I'm going to just say simplify it, stick with buckwheat and plant it because it'll grow so fast. Lots of good, and it won't get all tied up in the tiller like the grasses can. Let's see here. Yes. Fantastic says, love seeing the Viking wheels turning when designing the nutrient experiment. Got to test it out. Would be a great video to see. You can test the nutrient content in the foods by sending to a lab. It's true. You definitely can send it to the lab. I got the fertilizer tested. You have to send it to the lab. It costs a bunch of money and stuff. So yeah, it's costly, but yes, definitely. So I think that would be a good experiment with the Viking granular and something else, you know? Okay, so Jay Dixon, on top of things, thank you, says Dusty Flats, got a white fungus and then damping off for the first time in seedlings. Okay, white fungus, then damping off. Now, of course, I'm going to say what everyone's going to say. Well, it's because it's too much moisture, so you need to stop watering quite so much. I mean, if you have, like my basement is not friendly to molds, you know? So the stuff wants to mold an algae real easy down there. Now, if you know that you're going to be combating it, you need to water them in such a way where they're almost bone dry all the time. I know it's unfortunate, but you have to just make it because they can survive on very little water. So drier than you would think it needs to be, yes. But on top of that, one thing that can really help is to water with 1 part hydrogen peroxide from the store, 3%, and 4 parts water for a total of 5 cups. One, okay? So water directly with that. Don't get it on the leaves, but water with that. And that extra oxygen will help to kill off the pathogens in the soil. It will also help to oxygenate the roots and to help, it just helps a lot. So yes, you can definitely do that if you're experiencing the damping off, but you're primarily going to want to increase the light and decrease the moisture a bit and increase the wind. But a lot of people are asking, hey, how do you get thick onions and stuff? And it's all about light. It's so much of it is about light. So important. The light source is that they need to have good, strong, intense light. Look at this bunch of little sticks and straw from outside. So intense or so important is the light source. If you have good, strong, intense lighting, then it can really overcome a lot of things. Because remember, they are solar powered. Okay. Tony says, when do I plant my potatoes? Richmond, Indiana. Remember, guys, potatoes are actually frost sensitive. So you do not want them to be growing above the ground when you still have a threat of frost. So 2 weeks before your last frost is generally the best time. So that would be about the last week of April, give or take here. Yeah. Um, 313 peat, perlite, vermiculite. Never had damping off issue. Oh, okay. Three parts peat, 1 part perlite, 3 parts vermiculite. Now, why'd you put the vermiculite in there for? Because vermiculite will soak up water and keep it for a long time. So the vermiculite is to combat drying out. So what you should have done is put peat moss, perlite, and worm castings. That would definitely have helped a lot more than vermiculite would. I never add vermiculite anymore to my mixes for that exact reason. It takes forever to dry out. The vermiculite will hold on to the moisture for a long time, especially if you're growing in something like this. All that plastic, there's zero evaporation happening through that plastic. And so it all has to come out here. Now, if you've got chunks of vermiculite in there, that's just going to hold on to that moisture forever and ever. So I never use vermiculite in the mix. So that's your problem, in my opinion. Okay, the prodigal gardener. I'm in Florida and a little ahead of everyone. Yeah, way ahead. Can I add the Viking fertilizer as an addition after my plants are in my beds? I may need to buy earlier. Yes, you can. You can also hit me up. I mean, you can also PayPal me and I'll just send it to you. If you need it in the next 2 weeks, then yes. But you also can top dress and just kind of lightly rake into the soil or pull back your mulch, sprinkle it in and put the mulch back down. That's a good way to do it. Keep it moist. Yeah. You never want to any kind of fertilizer that you're using. Okay. 311. So that's much less vermiculite, but it's still a lot. It's still too much. But okay, you never want to put any nutrients. So if you're using like alfalfa meal or something like that, or bone meal, you never want to just sprinkle it on the soil surface and forget about it and have your soil exposed to the atmosphere. So you want to have it either lightly incorporated into the soil, but you want to have it with mulch on top always. Okay, even in Florida, even though it's moist and stuff, you got to have some type of cover from the ultraviolet light. So it's got to be like landscaping fabric or a light layer of grass clippings or leaves, something to keep that nutrients and the soil moist. Very important. Yeah. Ryan Kelly, that's a good question. The first one that comes to mind is says, "Good morning. Out of all the homemade fertilizers you make, which ones can be kept without spoiling?" The top ones are going to be the fish amino acids, can keep for several years. That's with the brown sugar and the calcium. Okay, those are going to be very shelf stable. The vinegar and calcium, both those are going to be very shelf stable. Yeah. Also, the guano bloom fertilizer, which is pretty much, in my opinion and experience, the best of them all. Definitely the most expensive of them all. There's no doubt about that, but it's the best of them all. And so that will remain indefinitely in the powdered form. Get you the ingredients, and the bat guano and the seabird guano will remain in that form indefinitely. The worm castings, quite some time. So that's what I would say. But just don't mix it up. Once you mix it up, you need to use it. Yes, guys, hit the thumbs up. Big Wheel Dog says, Nate, you check out the blood moon, you howl at it or feel any tingling sensations? I actually did not. Now, I did see a massive orange moon several nights ago, but I didn't end up howling at it. Not that I can recall, at least. Might have blacked out. I don't know. Oh, nice. Simplified Gardening says the peroxide will also kill fungus gnat larvae. Nice. Now this year, I don't have any fungus gnats at all, or mites, or any issues whatsoever in the tents because of all the good practices. But in my potting soils, because I started a bunch of new pothos and stuff this past summer, and I got contaminated soil, obviously. And they're not fungus gnats; they're some other kind of gnat, and they're proving to be very difficult to get rid of. I've watered several times with the BT. It's done nothing. And so I don't know what to do. But you see them flying around. Look, they're flying around right now. And they're not in any of my other soils, just the potting soil. Yeah. So let's see. Sorry, Sal. Thank you for your interest, but no. My goodness, it would cost a small fortune. I mean, it already cost. It's insane. So, like something that it would be comparable to my fertilizer, and I'm going to say again, of course, it's fully my opinion and experience that it's even better than anything you can get on the market. But the only thing would be comparable would be MI Gardener's Trifecta Plus. Okay, that would be the only thing even comparable. But he's still making it on a much bigger scale than I'm making it, so he's cutting corners anywhere he can. Of course, I'm making it out of my garage. It's just different. And so it's over the years it might have to change a bit. I don't know if it's like not profitable, but we'll see. But for now, it's the good stuff. And so he sells it. It's like $45 for 15 pounds, but that doesn't include shipping. So it's like $150. Well, it's $50. Okay, so for like 40 pounds of it, it's $150. And then you go to the checkout, and it's a standard $48 shipping. Okay, no matter where you're at, $48 shipping standard on that stuff. So even if I get it shipped here, it's $48 for shipping. So that's additional. Okay. So that's the shipping struggle is real, guys. It is insane to ship these 5-gallon buckets. It's averaging $40 and $50. It's insane. So, but you just got to deal with it. What else are you going to do? You're just going to not do anything. So, yes, Freebird says, are we still sharing on Discord this year? If so, I'm going to learn how to share pictures. Guys, definitely still share on the Discord. Definitely still be doing the Discord stuff as much as you want. It's a good sharing of knowledge. Now, I can't be there very much, though, because my resources are my time resource and energy resources are somewhat limited. And I need to focus on the things that are going to be like paying, as far as being able to get the land, because that's our goal. Everything's moving towards that. So I'll get lost in a long time answering stuff on Discord because I love to. I love talking with you guys. But that's not like, Discord's not monetized. So that's just the reality of the situation. So it's mostly for you guys. Okay. So if you want to ask me questions here, or we can do a one-on-one consultation, or you can ask in the comments section of the videos. And I still try to get to a lot of those as much as I can. Yeah. That's correct. Perlite does not hold any moisture, virtually. Perlite is all for drainage. So, yeah. Now, okay, if that's what Scott uses, then that must work for him. But my experience with vermiculite is just a wet, soggy mess and prone to diseases and stuff. So, sorry. So let's see here. So St. Max Media says, Nate, you need to get a discount from FedEx or UPS. Most companies have contracts with them and pay half or less. Yeah, no, I know. When I first did it last year, my first shipment of those was unbelievable. It cost like $750 to ship just the first handful because they charge me the standard rate, but then there was for each package bucket, there was a $25 surcharge because it was in a bucket and not a box. $25. And then there was an additional $10 just surcharge, just additional surcharge. So it doubled the price of everything. It was just unbelievable. But you learn about all these things. So then I talked to the person and they gave me discounts and stuff. And so it's better, definitely. Some places are not as much. When you ship with FedEx, it's not as much. But I know, like what MI Gardner's doing, he has to factor in he probably just factors in that you win some, you lose some. Some of them are more than $50. Some of them are a bit less. So, it just is what it is. It is what it is. So guys, next week we have got Nick, the worm farmer, coming on the show. Okay. So make sure you got all your questions ready for him. He's very good, very knowledgeable about anything to do with vermicomposting, worms, the life cycle of worms, how to best. You've seen my video on the worm farm. So he is the man that has the experience with all of that. So prepare some questions for him, okay? And right after that, I will then be on the Urban Gardener podcast again. So we will go right from there with Nick right over to Enoch's channel, the Urban Gardener, okay, which is right after ours. So that's what we're doing next week. So make sure that you check that out, okay? So you are doing a separate houseplant channel, huh? Nice. It's probably best. It's probably best. Ooh, I like it. Ranswers. Ranswers. Yes. That's kind of what it's like, isn't it? But it's my channel. So you can just say whatever you want. So let's see here. Is there any burning questions, guys? Okay, so thank you guys for being here, and we are at the time. Okay, so if you are doing any shopping through Amazon, make sure that you do it through the link in the description. Okay, it doesn't matter even if you get something from my storefront or not. Make sure that you watch all the recent videos. You're really going to learn a lot. Make sure you guys watch the video about light intensity, okay, the PAR meter. Make sure that you watch that video so you can understand light intensity and how it affects things, and grow lights and the spacing of the grow lights, all right? You don't need the device yourself, but watch it so you can understand. Also watch the video I just made about pH. That will school you on the pH, okay? And why you don't really need to be worrying about it. I get that question so much. How do I start adjusting the pH? You don't. You just add organic matter and you focus on the life in the soil, and that will pretty much do it. So long as it's not a total far one way or the other, as long as your soil is not 3.5 or something, then you probably need to do something. But and so many comments on that video about the one possible exception, blueberries. Okay, so I don't have a lot of experience yet growing the blueberries, so I can't say for sure. Now, but for 99.9% of the plants, that rule is going to apply. Okay, I don't know about blueberries though. I gotta say it straight up front because I don't know. So, all right, guys, I will see you, the Thrive Tribe, tomorrow on the Nate Muri channel at noon. Yes, and we will. Uh, yeah. Brian says, Nate, any idea when you're going to get the cooking channel? You know, kind of like Tony says, he's kind of stretched thin. I can't be doing a cooking channel. I'm just come to the realization that there's just no. So now I have to make double the content. There's just no way I could do that. What I am doing instead is I'm going to be doing a whole course. I'm going to put the cooking, all kinds of cooking things, in a course content. So you can buy the course, and it's so much better laid out, anyways, than anything on the YouTube. And I'm just over, being dancing for the YouTube overlords. I'm just over that. So, and then they just squash your content and all that. No, I'm not going to play that game like that. I will a little bit because you have to, but I'm not going to start a whole nother channel and worry about likes and comment and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm just going to, because I know it's top shelf knowledge. So I'm going to put it in course format and I will promote it that way to you guys. Okay. So that's, I think, what we're going to do. That's right. We'll see you then, my friend. I got them buckets ready for you for pickup. And so, all right, guys, we will see you next time, huh? What's up, my friend? The Love Waters. Aloha. I would love to come out and see you sometime. I think of that occasionally, how awesome that would be. I've never been to Hawaii. Ms. P, $2. Thank you for the support, my friend. I appreciate it. Says, have you checked pirate ship? What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Pirate ship. I will check it out. Whatever that means, put it in the comments because I'm not sure what pirate ship is. Let me know. Okay.